formed in response to the extreme nationalism that helped start World War II. The European Union and its 28 member countries have passed legislation ranging from economic competition laws to environmental protection laws affecting the whole of the European Union. One of the most internationalistic agreements is the Schengen Agreement, establishing open borders between 26 states, 4 of which are not in the European Union. This system treats all of these states as one whole entity, making travel between countries easier, as there are no traditional border checkpoints. The United States needed a united Western Europe to contain the Soviets. It created NATO to integrate Europe and the United States both politically and militarily. With great influence over a majority of European nations, 28 to be exact, NATO has great authority over its member nations. NATO enforced policies through standardization agreements, the name of which just implies internationalism. These agreements aim to standardize processes, procedures, equipment, and conditions to create a more uniform European military force. Since the late 1960s, the European Economic Community has wanted a unified currency. The Delors Report of 1989 set out a plan to introduce the European Currency Unit in 3 phases and outlined the formation of agencies responsible for monetary policy. The British did not like this, and when it came down to a vote, they said, "Go take it," and shove it up your ass. And that was the end of that. Fast forward a bit to the Maastricht Treaty, where it was agreed that a unified currency, the euro, should be formed, except with them Brits who can keep their pound sterling. This stimulated economic growth within the Eurozone, but made individual governments less autonomous, further increasing the feeling of growing internationalism. Not only were the countries allied with the United States under anti-nationalist persuasion, so were those under Soviet control. Beginning with the Warsaw Pact and the Kagan, nationalism and autonomy were on the decline in the Soviet Union. There were exceptions to this, however. For example, during the late 1980s and early 1990s, the breakup of Yugoslavia into separate states based on ethnicity and the loosening of Soviet regulations led to a rise in nationalist expression, ultimately contributing to the downfall of the Soviet Union. All in all, nationalism has been declining in post-World War II Europe with the formation of political and military alliances and the push for united currency. Nationalism saw a small period of activity in the late 1980s and early 1990s with the breakup of Yugoslavia into individual ethnic states and the reduction of opposition in Eastern Europe during and after the fall of the Soviet Union.